Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now, here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hello, and welcome to another day at the podcast. I do have another one of the 40/40 rules, wisdom from 40 women over 40 as one of my guests. She's one of the co-authors in the book. And I can officially announce that we are #1 Amazon bestsellers. So super excited about that. And today my guest is Marion Morgan. And Marion has been an entrepreneur all of her life. She's currently a business owner since 1984. And it's called Morgan Recreation. She is serving a therapeutic recreation as a therapeutic recreation consultant for special needs population. She loves to put smiles on the faces of kids and adults while providing stimulating activities. She has trained athletes to take part in the Special Olympics. She's a former Parks and Recreation board member and volunteer for special events in Cedar City, Utah. Marion is a ski instructor for the disabled at Brianhead Ski Resort in Brianhead, Utah. She has taught Mountain San Antonio College in Walnut, California, Cal Poly University in Pomona, California. I hope I just said all that right. And Pasadena City College in Pasadena, California. Marion is the mother of 3 awesome daughters, which I can vouch for because they're beautiful. And she's a grandmother to 3 amazing grandkids. She has a passion for life and travel and the outdoors. She's actively involved with her church and values family and friendships. And welcome to the show, Marion. How are you?
I'm good, Holly. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Marion and I met actually in Cedar City, Utah. And how did we meet? I think maybe church. Is that how we met?
Yeah, I think it was church. Yep.
Yeah, and we both served on the Parks and Rec board together and other things.
We did. We've had good times serving Cedar City.
Yeah, and now we've both moved away to bigger and better places and moving on, right? Life changes, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. Loving it here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I know, except you have the cold and I'm down here in the warm. So you can keep it, by the way. You like to ski.
I'm going to come visit, yeah.
Oh, anytime. Well, so I'm so excited that you were part of this book. This was the volume 2 of the 40/40 rules. And it was great to work with you and to have you as part. You're always been a part of my life, but I'm just so happy now we get to share this in common as well. So thank you so much for being part of it and bringing all of your gifts to the table.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It really has been an amazing ride. This is something I've never done, never thought I would do, and it's opened up many more experiences I'm sure that I will have.
I love it. So let's talk about your story. This is about you today. So what's your story? What kinds of things have you had in your life? I know you, but my guests don't know you. So share with us maybe something about you.
One of the things one of the challenges that I've had was that I had a bone marrow transplant many years ago. And it left me to a part that I never thought I would have, a place where I was on the couch and I couldn't do much. I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't take care of myself. And when I came back home from having the bone marrow transplant, it left me not able to do many things, and all the things that I love to do and wanted to share with my young children, I was unable to. So the first things I had to do was learn to be able to walk around the block. And that took all day for me to be able to rest, to be able to do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. And as I looked at my life, I realized as being a rec therapist, I need more to life, or I need to know where my boundaries would be. And so after having a good talk with my kids, who were then 5, 7, and 15, my husband was working out of town and not home during the week, so I had no help. It was just me and my girls. I told them I needed to push harder and I would need their help. And they all agreed that Mom needed to be better because they didn't like seeing me the way I was. So to the gym I went and worked the hardest I've ever worked in my life so that I could have the health and the strength to take care of them, but also to be able to share with them the things that I love in life and the passions that I have in life, which tend to be more outdoors. I love going camping and backpacking and hiking. And in the condition that I was, there was no way I could be able to share that with them. I was not in a healthy place. So 10 years later, I could say that I was able to now go backpacking 2 years ago, which was about 10 years into this whole process. I took my two youngest backpacking at the Teton Crest Trail in Wyoming. I can't say it was easy for me, but it was something that I learned that I could still do and learn what I need to do to be able to have more fun outside. And so the girls were able to do some of the things that I enjoy and the passions that I have. And it just took 10 years to get there, but it's okay. Sometimes the path takes you long enough, long as you have the goal in mind and you're willing to sacrifice and make those sacrifices for it to happen.
Oh, for sure. So I'm curious, like there had to have been some depression that came in with all those challenges you were going through. I would assume, like, right?
I don't remember like being depressed. That's not a person that I usually am. Right. I realized that I was a little sad because it didn't come as quick as I really wanted it to happen, you know, to be able to walk farther, do some things that the girls were involved with going on trek through our church, and knowing that I wasn't able to walk the 8 miles yet to be able to participate in that, and working harder the next time. So when it came around, I was able to do that.
Right.
And so I always like immediate gratification. So it was more patience than going, okay, I got to work harder. I got to take better care of myself. And the kids have got to be able to pull their weight as well. And they were more than willing to do. I remember the two youngest, when the oldest one was in school, trying to do laundry, where one was on top of the washer throwing the laundry in, and the other one was down below carrying it basket and handing things to her. And I was on the couch trying to recover and telling them how to do this and how to turn the washer on. And they made it happen, and I could lay on the couch and fold laundry. And so we just made it work with what we had to do.
Well, I think it's amazing that, like, I would have just assumed depression would be part of the whole process because it took so long. So I guess what the question I would have now then would be, what kept you, like our listeners, I'm sure are wondering the same thing. What kept you from getting depressed, going through that? Like, how did you keep moving forward? And like, that would be hard.
I'm usually a happy person, and I knew that I needed to be happy for my kids. And they were around me all the time. I had a little one that wasn't quite in school yet. And so I just needed to be their strength as well as they were my strength to keep me going. So it was just like, okay, if I didn't get everything done that day, you know, we'll just do it the next day, and they would just have to help a little harder. Or when I started going to the gym and working out and realizing that I didn't have the strength to stand and do dinners and things, it might just have been a sandwich that they put together, peanut butter jelly or whatever it might be, that they got fed, and it was okay. And no, it wasn't a 3-course meal.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, right?
That's right, exactly.
Well, I know
nobody ever complained.
Yeah, in your chapter, first of all, what's the title and why did you name it that?
The title is Gratitude. It's kind of a way that I think I try to live my life. I am grateful for everything I have, and now going through this experience that took such a long time to get to where I am now and who I am today, I am grateful for those obstacles that were there. Sure. I learned from those obstacles. Sure. And it's just time to move forward and grow from that. And we have challenges every day. Every day we go through something. So how do we take our challenges and move forward? You know, you got to get through them. You go under, around them. How do you do it? Yeah. And so for me, it's like just putting it out there, doing your best, and moving past until the next challenge comes again. And that's who we become. You know, the people that we become with the challenges and the tough times that we have in life.
Okay. Well, and I know for those of you listening that maybe haven't joined us on the podcast before, you know, the book is all questions. And so all 40 women answer the same questions. And, you know, the first question we ask is how important do you feel commitments are? And you had said that it's a reflective of your character. You want to go further into that?
Sure, just a little bit. I think everything that you do equals to the person that you are and the type of person, you know, that you want to become. And so all the hardships I've had in life has developed me to the person that I am today. You know, people are always watching who you are. So you just always need to just be your best and be your true self, both for others and for yourself and for your kids and for your family. You know, there's no facades, just be who you are and be happy for who you are. And, you know, we're all trying to grow and continue to grow to become the people that we want to be. And so there's just stepping stones along the way that we need to cross over and embrace and learn from those experiences.
Okay. Okay. And we talk a little bit also, one of the questions are about, you know, suggestions for people to be more productive. Do you remember what you said in there? Put you on the spot.
I like to do the hardest things first. Is that the direction we were going? I do make my list the night before, so I'm ready to jump up and get things done in the mornings. And so one of the things that used to drag me down was the hardest thing was always on the bottom because I just didn't want to do it. So I've rechanged my thinking to put the hardest thing on the top of my list and realize that once I get that out of the way, everything flows so much easier and I'm a much happier person.
I call those,
if that's done and over with. And sometimes that might be the only thing I get done that day, but that's okay.
That is okay. I call those trivial, many, and critical few. So the critical few are those ones you just talked about that you put at the bottom. You need to do those first because the critical few, one of those might equal 10 of the trivial many. Anyway.
Absolutely. I hear you. Yeah.
So true. And then I've changed my to-do list to a success list.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to do that.
It sounds way more fun. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So that's something, that's something I share in the book. So what in your background has helped you succeed in life, do you think?
I've always had determination. If I have something that I want to do and I am 100% committed, I'm going to make sure that it happens. So determination has been really, really important for me. Let's see. One of the examples I think I would say is before I had the bone marrow transplant, I started to do triathlons. And I got so fully committed to do that, but things in my life kind of changed early on in getting prepared for this that I had to start going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning. And that was not my time of day. I was normally still sleeping. So I had to do this before my husband went to work. And so that was the only time that was my time to do. So some of the sacrifices that I had to have in order for that to happen was I had to be in bed when the kids were in bed. You know, 8 o'clock was my bedtime. So that I missed the late time show. I missed anything. And so getting to bed and eating right and staying true to going to the gym 5 days a week at 4:30 in the morning was what I needed to do to succeed. And I don't think I missed a single day ever for the 4 months prior to the event to do that because I felt I was committed. It was something I wanted to do and see how good I could do with it. So determination is something that has always been easy for me once I have the mindset to do it.
Well, we talked about productivity in the book as well. That was some of the questions. Do you feel like, first of all, what was the most productive time of the day for you? That was one of the questions. And I'm curious if that shifted as you've gotten older because you talked about early mornings. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, still early mornings. I need to get up, get moving, and that's when my mind is clear. I'm ready to move forward. Come afternoon, there's a lot of kind of like fog and interruptions that seem to occur. So when I have my quiet time before everybody kind of gets moving and things, I can get a lot more done.
Yeah. Okay. So like, but do you feel like the early morning, obviously you're not getting up at 4 o'clock now, you know?
No.
that shifted. So you're still saying morning, but just not like super
I'm
early.
still saying morning. Yeah. It's not at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Don't know whether I will do a triathlon. I had a friend 2 weeks ago ask if I would do one next September, which is a short version in a pool, not an open swim. And I told her, yeah, I think I might do it. So we'll see if that happens or not. I'm still playing, but I think it would be doable. It would be fun to see what my body can do now and challenge my body to do that.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
So no, we're not talking at 4:30 in the morning anymore.
There's a difference between, to me, 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. though. Like 6 a.m., I feel like that extra 2 hours, if I'm just up that extra 2 hours, then if I start at 8 a.m., I get so much more done. Like for me, that works out really well. And I'm a morning person as well. So I definitely, but I'm not a night owl. And people that start calling me at 9:30 at night and stuff, I finally turned my phone so it doesn't ring through after 9 p.m. because if I see it ring and I'm up, I'll answer it, but I'm like, I can't do that. It's just so distracting. And I love the idea where they say, turn your electronics off. I've heard 1 hour and I've heard 2 hours before you go to bed. I've never done that, by the way. I need to, because that's probably a really wise idea.
I think as an entrepreneur, you have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
So whether those are office hours for you, whether those are boundaries of shutting off your phone at a certain time or saying, these are my office hours per phone, you can message me, but maybe it can't be the next day. I think as entrepreneurs, we go 100 miles an hour. Yeah. We sometimes don't know how to stop.
But I will say on that note that you said about the boundaries, you got to respect your own boundaries, because I had somebody that she'd set up those boundaries, but she'd always break them. And so like, I never knew. I figured she did it, so it was okay to get a hold of her. And then she'd like sometimes say rude stuff about it. And I thought, well, then don't answer. Like, really, it's your own boundary. Yeah. Either sign up and follow it or don't. I'm a big believer on do what I say what I do. It's like, that's a big trigger for me. So it's like, if you're not going to respect yourself, then I'm going to message you whenever I feel like it. But I feel like my boundaries on that were so broad because of, being in the real estate industry. It was more like, if you don't grab that call, they're going to call somebody else. So after hours, it was a lot of times when my clients would need the help or would call for information when they were off work. And if I didn't answer, they'd just move on to the next person. So that was challenging because, and I'm saying respectfully, we're talking still at 9 o'clock at night, okay, do I really want to work with somebody who's going to be calling me after 9 o'clock at night? Not really, but I work with a lot of people now who are all over the world. So, I had to learn to shut my phone off, at least, set the timer on it so it wouldn't ring through, because it is in my room. Maybe it shouldn't be, but I noticed, people in other countries, they have different time zones. And so they just wouldn't even think about it. They'd message me. My messenger would ding like a text and it'd be waking me up all night long. So yeah, I think those boundaries, I love that. That's great.
Yeah. That
is great. So what keeps you motivated and keep going every day now?
I like to calendar things. I like to be able to see what's coming up and be prepared for it. So my new thing this coming year, so get your calendars out, everybody, is to calendar your dreams and hopes and plans. I have some travel things that I haven't been able to do for a few years. I've become an empty nester, so now I can get out and do some things. So I have calendared some events all over the world to travel and to do the things that I love to do. And I know that if I don't have it calendared, it's not going to happen. A wish not written is only, what is it? A goal not written is only a wish. So for me to get it on and say, this month or this date, I am leaving, I'm going to do, and I'm doing something for myself. Not only the big events, but even sometimes I have to remind myself, because I get so busy, that I need to go for a hike. I have a hiking group that goes, twice, 3 times a week. And if I don't put it on there, my mind's not thinking that every Tuesday, Thursday, those are the days that, I can go. And if it's not on there, I'm not thinking, oh, I should go do something for myself.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we have to for ourselves. We need to take time for ourselves. And that's not something I've always done, but I am learning as I get older. I have to schedule it for it to happen. It doesn't happen spontaneously.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder for me that if I look at my calendar, my physical calendar, I'm old school, that this is what's happening and I'm looking forward to it. So some of my passions of hiking and biking or camping or whatever are on there to remind me to take a break so that I can be the better person for the next week or the next day if I've got time for myself.
Well, I've noticed, so this is my book for this year. And it's interesting because I'm a super digital person, and I like things digital, but I feel like for the calendar, it has to be a little more tangible. I don't mind if it's on my phone because I need that as well with the alarms. Oh, I've had to learn to set alarms for everything, but I feel like as far as planning, I think planning needs to be written down and then put in your phone and I think it's going, you see so many planners for sale now again. And so I think people are just kind of moving back to that a little bit, I mean, everything comes back, right? And
it does.
Yeah, we just
absolutely. No, I love the physical, the tangible, that's the way I run.
Yeah, I do too. And it was
I'm
so
glad
hard
to
for
see
me to
you
put
have
together.
one too.
Yeah, I've got to start working it. I have it sitting here right next to me so I can get it done. That's my goal. After this book launch, I was like, I've got to get my marketing calendar and everything set up for next year. So that's what I'm working on in December. It's going to feel like I'm on vacation. Even though I'm working, it's going to feel like I'm on vacation compared to what it's been. A little chaotic for a few months.
You worked hard.
But we all need to do that, So yes, get it done so you're ready to hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
Don't wait till January to make your plans.
Exactly. Get them in there, book them.
Definitely. And I love that. If you don't write it down, it's not going to happen. You have to write it down. My husband, I give him anxiety every time I tell him, we are going to Scotland, England, Ireland, and then we're going to fly over to Italy and see your niece. We're going to be gone 3 weeks next year. And he's like, freaks out every time I mention it. And I'm like, I'm getting it on the calendar. We're going in June. And then so like, we're taking a trip to Arizona to a family function. And I'm like, we're making our plans. That drive is our plan. So it's like, we're going to make our next year's plan.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told him, I let him know this morning that that's what our little ride was going to be. He's like, where are we going? We're going where? Just playing dumb, but anyway.
Just plan it and do it. And
That's
he'll
right.
have fun.
Yeah, he's not a planner. I'm a planner. I like to know what's happening. So, well, Marion, it was such a joy and pleasure to have you on today on the show. And I'm sure our listeners, they'll have to grab your book and read the rest of your chapter and all your wise wisdom in there, because the book is about wisdom. And they can go pick it up at hollyporter.com. The books are on there. And if anyone wants to get a hold of you or maybe friend you or check you out on Facebook, you want to give that information, and we'll also post it in the show notes below. But if you want to, if someone wants to contact you, what's the best way to contact you? That you want to give
probably find me on Facebook, I'm guessing, or an email address. Will that work? Make your dreams come true. No, actually, it's make your dreams big at yahoo.com.
Make your dreams big at yahoo.com. We'll post that below.
Yep. Okay. Sounds perfect. Look forward to it.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. And thank you, listeners, again for listening. And we will see you again at another day of the podcast. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.